Welcome back, you guys. Let's get going on example 4B. I'm already excited. Let's go. Okay, so this time we're focusing on the scale factor of the area of two polygons this time, which is pretty cool. Guys, so it says the scale factor of two similar polygons is 5/2. So again, if I give you a scale factor of two shapes that are similar, all that means if you have divided one shape's side length by the other shape's side length. Okay, and either that's what it was or reduced down to 5/2. Okay, so that's what that means. Okay, now it says if the area of the smaller polygon is 30 inches squared, find the area of the larger polygon. Okay, so now we're focusing on area, which is a little different than perimeter, so watch yourself. Okay, so if you remember, if you think back to that awesome activity that you guys did, you found out that you have to square the area. Sorry, the demon cat's got me. Sorry, guys. You have to square the scale factor of the original polygon to get the scale factor of the area. Okay, so this time we're not going to use this number. We're going to use this number squared. Okay, so I'm going to square 5/2 to find the scale factor of the area of these two polygons. Okay, so let's see here. The scale factor of the area is going to be this bad boy squared. So I'm going to square 5/2. Now, when you guys are squaring a fraction, there's two ways to think about it. What does it mean to square something? Like if you square 3, what does that mean? Well, it means 3 times 3. You're multiplying it to itself. So there's two ways you can think about this. This equals 5/2 times 5/2. Okay, which if you ever multiply two fractions together, all you gotta do is go straight across. Okay, you don't cross multiply when you multiply fractions. Okay, you cross multiply when you have a fraction equal to a fraction, when you have a proportion. When you multiply two fractions, you go straight across. So watch yourself. The demon cats are always lurking, so watch yourself. Okay, so 5 times 5 is 25, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so the scale factor that I'm going to be using for the area is 25/4. In the last one, we used 2/3 because the polygon scale factor was equal to the perimeter scale factor. Now it's equal to the scale factor squared. Okay, now there's a shortcut if you don't want to have to do all this. Another shortcut for squaring a fraction is to square the top and the bottom. Okay, so I could simply, another way to solve this, it also equals 5 squared over 2 squared. So 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. And 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so whenever you're squaring a fraction, you can either think about writing it twice and multiplying it, or squaring the numerator and denominator. Whichever way floats your boat. It's kind of a personal preference. Okay, so I'm going to be using this number for my scale factor. So that's what I'm going to write first when I set up my proportion this time. Okay, so I'm going to write 25/4 equals, now it says that the area of the smaller polygon is 30 inches squared. Find the area of the larger polygon. Okay, so again, when you're trying to figure out how to set up your proportion, okay, you always need to line it up so that the shapes relate to the fraction. Okay, so we got to make sure we write the correct shape in the correct spot, or else our proportion will be wrong, which is really sad, right? Okay, so 30 inches squared is the smaller polygon. So when I'm figuring out where to write the 30 inches, I need to write on the side of the fraction that has the smaller number. So if you look over here, which side of my fraction has the smaller number? Heavenly Hamburger. It is the denominator. So I'm going to write it on the bottom. So I'm going to write 30 on the bottom because that is my smaller number. And I'm trying to find the area of the larger figure. So since I don't know the area of the larger figure, I'm going to call that bad boy x. Okay? So again, if you need to remind yourself, x will equal the area of the, we want to find the area of the larger polygon. So area of the larger polygon. Alright, and from here, we just cross multiply. Let's keep going. We got this, you guys. You guys are like cross multiplying pros, so I'm confident you can do this. Okay? So it doesn't matter which way you go. I personally like to deal with the x first, but really it doesn't matter. Okay, so 4 times x gives me 4x, and that will equal, let's see here, 25 times 30. Okay, which off the top of my head, I don't know 25 times 30, but I do know 25 times 3. If you got 3 quarters, you've got 75 cents, right? So 25 times 3 is 75, which means 25 times 30 is 750, right? Okay. And from here, we simply just solve this thing for x. So don't forget, you guys, the 4 and the x are secretly multiplying. Okay, so the way that I move the 4 over is by dividing both sides by 4. Okay, and I'm trying to think, let's see here. So 4 divided by 4 cancels and turns to 1. Alright, and then 750 over 4, well 4, I'm pretty sure, let me think. I'm pretty sure 4 does not evenly divide in 750, but I do know I can reduce this fraction down. Okay, so even if you don't know if it divides evenly, you could always like reduce it down and then see if you can reduce it further. Okay, so since both of these numbers are even, what definitely divides into 750 and 4? Well, I know 2 definitely divides into each, so I'm going to divide each of these by 2. So let's see here, 750 divided by 2. Well, I don't know that, so I'm just going to work it out because I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay, so 2 goes into 7. Let's see here, 1. No. Wow, I'm this long. Goes into it 3 times. Good golly. Okay, remainder 1. 2 goes into 15. 7 times remainder 1. Okay, so this is 375. So this is going to be 375 over, well, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, and from here, I definitely know I can't reduce it down anymore because 375 is not even and 2 is. So I'm just going to double check to make sure I did all my work right. It's always good to double check. Good. Good. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so for my final answer, I'm going to say x equals 375 over 2. Now don't forget to include your, oh wow, that 2 is embarrassing. Sorry guys. Man, demon cats are getting me. Alright, 375 over 2 is going to be, remember, the area, the larger polygon, and since we're finding the area, I need to include my units squared, because we always write our units squared when we find the area. So my units are in inches, so this will be inches squared. So you can write IN as like an abbreviated form of inches, or you can write it out, doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to put a little squared on there. So 375 over 2 inches squared, which again, you could write it as a decimal, but you know, that's extra work. So why would you want to do that? And also, fractions are our friends, so I'm going to leave it as a fraction. Well, guess what, you guys? That's it for 4B. Wasn't it fun? I know, it was so much fun.